Right now at noon, we'll take a look at the latest numbers from last night's election.
Well, we've got a pretty nice fall day out there. Skies are beginning to clear, and we will eventually have some rain chances down the horizon. Look at your forecasts coming up.
Plus, authorities charge a Fort Leonard Wood soldier with murder in the death of a sergeant.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
The voters have spoken. This is KOAM News at noon. I'm Elise Snowy. We have the numbers from yesterday's election across the 4 states and the country. Now we begin with a couple of proposed constitutional amendments in Missouri. Amendment 3 would provide for a state constitutional right to reproductive freedom defined to include abortion. Voters have passed that proposal. Missouri Amendment 2 would legalize and regulate sports betting in the state. That proposal also passes. Now, under Missouri's Amendment 6, salaries and benefits for certain law enforcement personnel would be paid for through special court fees. Voters have opposed that idea. And Missouri Amendment 7 concerns voting regulations. It would specifically prohibit voting by non-citizens and prohibit ranked voting. That amendment has passed. Missouri Proposition A would raise the state's minimum wage over the next 2 years, hitting $15 an hour in 2026. It would also require employers to provide 1 hour of paid sick leave for every 30 hours worked. That proposal has also passed. Now, turning now to some other big races in Missouri. Current Governor Mike Parson term limited out, and that race has been called for Lieutenant Governor Mike Kehoe. He beat out Missouri State House Minority Leader Democrat Crystal Quaid. And the Lieutenant Governor's race, the Republican is Dave Wassinger. The Democrat is current Missouri House member Richard Brown. Wassinger was currently leading, and also on the ballot Libertarian Iverson and Green Party candidate Elliott. Now, in Missouri's U.S. Senate race, incumbent Republican Josh Hawley is challenged by the Democrat former Marine Lucas Kunce. Hawley has been declared the winner in his bid for re-election. Incumbent Republican Congressman for District 4 Mark Alford is challenged by Democrat Jeanette Koss. Alford retains his seat. In Missouri's 7th District, incumbent Republican Congressman Eric Burleson facing Democratic challenger Missy Hesketh. Kevin Craig is the Libertarian, and voters re-elect Burleson. In Oklahoma's 2nd District, Republican incumbent Congressman Josh Britching faced 2 challengers, Democratic candidate Brandon Wade, independent candidate Ronnie Hopkins. Britching won re-election. And on the Kansas side of the state line, 2nd Congressional District Representative Jake LaTurner decided not to run for re-election. Voters chose former State Attorney General Republican Derek Schmidt over former Congresswoman Democrat Nancy Boyda and Libertarian John Hauer. Now, taking a look at some other races in the area, we start in Crawford County, Kansas. Republican Billy Tomasi challenged Democratic incumbent Danny Smith in the county sheriff contest. Tomasi wins against Smith. Cherokee County picked a new sheriff yesterday after David Groves announced he wasn't running again. Republican Brian Henderson defeats Democratic candidate Russ Harper. And in Neosho County, Kansas, Democrat Paul Ornelas challenged incumbent Sheriff Greg Taylor. Taylor wins re-election. And voters in Carthage were deciding whether to recall Ward 5 Councilwoman Tiffany Kosey. That proposal has passed. And we have a more complete list of election results, and it's on our website, KOAMnewsnow.com/elections. Or you can scan this QR code on your screen, and that will also take you to our website. Now let's check in with Chris Warner for a look at the forecast.
Yeah, we've got ourselves a pretty decent day out there. The sun is shining. Temperatures not too terribly warm, but they are very seasonable, which is nice. We don't get that often. Lots of traffic there on MoDOT Camera 20th and Rangeline in Joplin. Folks are probably heading to lunch on this post-election day. Downtown Pittsburgh, our camera there looks great. A moment ago, there were quite a few clouds. We were partly cloudy, but you can see now there's just one little cloud over there that you can see, and there's not much to it. Yesterday started the day at 45, not far from where we should be. Made it up to 67, so a little bit above where we should be, but still not too bad. Temperatures today very close to average, and we're on our way there. 60 in Joplin, 59 in Pittsburgh. We've still got some upper 50s out there, and some folks like Stockton, maybe even Monette, Cassville may not warm up much more. We've got some low 60s out there, so again, a fairly seasonable day. Heading through the evening, we'll see clouds gradually increase, and they'll start to go partly to to mostly cloudy and temperatures falling back to the 50s and eventually into the upper 40s by 11 o'clock. It's going to be another cool and breezy day tomorrow, and then rain chances by Friday, the latest in the full forecast here in just a few more minutes. Elise?
All right, thanks, Chris. We'll see you soon. Well, Donald Trump is headed back to the White House. It's the first time in U.S. history a convicted felon has the title of president-elect. As Jared Hill reports, the former president's solid victory this time around is a story of voter turnout.
This is a magnificent victory for the American people.
Overnight, Donald Trump relished in what his supporters call the greatest political comeback in American history.
We overcame obstacles that nobody thought possible, and it is now clear that we've achieved the most incredible political thing. Look what happened. Is this crazy?
Trump's campaign strategy to appeal to people who don't vote frequently in key battleground states worked, ultimately putting him well over the required 270 electoral votes. And it's what played out in make or break Pennsylvania.
People who voted early, they went overwhelmingly for Kamala Harris. But then what happened yesterday? Boom. Donald Trump turned out more people day of.
Vice President Kamala Harris's campaign has always said if she loses, she'll concede the race. That call to her opponent could come today. She's also expected to address supporters at her alma mater, Howard University.
You won't hear from the vice president tonight.
The crowd there dispersed last night after learning Harris wouldn't make an appearance. As Team Trump prepares to head back to the White House, they're calling for hope and optimism.
He is going to be a president for all Americans.
Senior advisor Jason Miller says the president-elect can hit the ground running with executive orders.
He can simply flip the switch on day one, secure the border, start the energy exploration again, which will help with reducing inflation, making things more affordable.
A vast majority of voters nationwide described the economy as bad. It was a top concern among Trump voters. Jared Hill, CBS News, the White House.
The president-elect will also have at least the Senate majority on his side. Well, still ahead, criminal proceedings begin against a Fort Leonard Wood soldier. And later, we're making bacon roasted chicken in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen. Well, criminal proceedings will begin against a Fort Leonard Wood soldier in Missouri for the death of a sergeant on post. Now, the death happened last month and the soldier faces several charges. Chris Bryant has more.
She was a sister, she was a warrior, and she was a battle buddy and a member of our team.
A bridge crew member and mine dog handler with the K-9 detachment. Sergeant Sarah Roque was reported missing when she didn't appear to formation on the morning of October 21st. After a search, her body was found on post at Fort Leonard Wood near the single soldier housing in a dumpster.
As a leader and a commander, I take this personally. I hold very dear that I am responsible for what goes on in this installation.
The Army Criminal Investigation Division, along with the FBI, conducted an investigation into the death of Sergeant Roque.
The Army Office of Special Trial Counsel has preferred court-martial charges against Specialist Worcester Rancy and will make the prosecution decisions in this case moving forward.
The charges against Specialist Rancy is for murder and obstructing justice in violation of Articles 118 and 131B of the Uniform Code of Military Justice.
And all of the details of that timeline are still part of the investigation.
When it comes to the relationship between Sergeant Roque and Specialist Rancy.
So that is still part of the ongoing investigation, so I'd rather not discuss any details related to that.
Specialist Rancy was ordered into pretrial confinement on October 24th and has been transferred to the Midwest Joint Regional Confinement Facility at Fort Leavenworth, Kansas on October 30th. On October 29th, Sarah Roque's body was returned home to Indiana. And while Sergeant Roque's family is preparing for her funeral, this week her unit held a memorial on post in her honor.
Yesterday, the unit had a very touching memorial. And while that does not bring closure, that is a critical step in the healing of that unit and the family.
While questions still remain about the connection between Sergeant Roque and Specialist Rancy and the details into her death, command staff is working to make sure her teammates are healing, along with not forgetting her memory.
We will always keep Sergeant Sarah Emily Roque in our thoughts.
Well, still to come on KOAM News at noon, Mr. Food.
It's time for us guys to roll up our sleeves and get cooking. So join me as I share a few tips to make dinner extra special.
And while we've got an absolutely gorgeous day today, we are tracking rain chances as we head into Friday and Saturday, the latest when we come back. Welcome back to the KOAM News at noon. So hopefully you're having a fantastic post-election Wednesday. Time for things to, settle back down a bit. The weather is considerably calm. It is also cool, but as I mentioned, seasonably cool out there. This is about how it's supposed to be in November in the 4 states. We got sunny skies from our camera downtown Pittsburgh, looking pretty good. We have that light east breeze at about 5 to 10 miles an hour. Temperatures will eventually make some average gains to the low 60s for most of us. Some of us already there, and then we'll continue to see things change. Future track, we want to talk about that. So we got a few clouds by 5 o'clock. Still into that mostly clear zone, if not just straight up clear. But overnight, late evening and overnight, we see clouds increase. Now, there's nothing associated with these clouds, but we will see them increase. We're going to start going partly to mostly cloudy overnight towards sunrise tomorrow. Later this evening and overnight, winds will also shift out of the northeast. And during the day on Thursday, they're going to ramp up a bit. We're going to get some gusty northeast winds out there. Temperatures tomorrow may even be a wee bit cooler for some of us than they are today. Take a look at noon tomorrow. We've got 4 communities on the future track showing up into the low 60s. Everyone else out there into the 50s across the region. We will eventually make some low 60s, but I think we're going to see a lot more upper 50s for highs. Now again, Thursday's dry and breezy. Then overnight, we start to see maybe a few stray showers in our far northwestern counties. We're going to draw this line, from Chanute, Fredonia, Yates Center. This zone is where we could see a stray shower, maybe a rumble of thunder early Friday. And then we'll have that pause, and then by late morning Friday and into the afternoon hours, that's where we're going to start to see more showers and thunderstorms. Now, the storms and showers themselves are going to be lifting roughly from south to north, but the wave that they're associated with is getting pushed to the east. So gradually, as we go through our Friday and into early Saturday, showers and storms will begin to shift a little further east, but still getting good amounts of rainfall in southeast Kansas. Here we are Saturday, 5 a.m., and you can see some of those showers and storms now crossing over to the Missouri side of things, and that's how it's expected to be. And then by mid-afternoon or by midday Saturday, things begin to clear out. Right now in Joplin, again, there were a few more clouds out here not 30, 40 minutes ago, and now the skies are clear overhead. 60 is where we're sitting with that east breeze at 10 miles an hour. Over to the Pittsburgh side, again, clear skies out there as well. 59 with an east-northeast breeze at around 9 miles an hour. And as we take a look at temperatures around the region, again, some of us already warming up into the low 60s, especially our southern counties, and out west as well. And then you go further northeast, you get a few mid-upper 50s out there. So again, Stockton's a great example because you're only at 55 right now. You may not get much warmer. Some locations may only make the upper 50s, but the majority of us at least should get into the low 60s today. 63 the average, but again, it's a 15-county area. We can't plot the temperature for every location, but you get the idea out there. East breeze, again, 5 to 10 miles an hour. Increasing clouds tonight, still chilly, but seasonably so. Low to mid 40s out there, and then like we saw this morning, maybe a couple of upper 30s here and there. Tomorrow, chillier, and of course the wind's increasing, gusting 20, 25, and we'll have temperatures upper 50s and low 60s. Over the next 10 days, here comes that rain. Second half of Friday, low 60s again on Saturday. Thunderstorms and showers should wrap up by about noon, 1 o'clock on Saturday, and we'll start clearing out. No severe weather is expected, which is great news. As we head into next week, though, temperatures begin warming up, and we're going well above normal ahead of another cold front Wednesday with more thunderstorm chances. And we're going to watch Wednesday. We're getting some of those springtime weather set up, so we'll keep an eye on it. Nothing to worry about yet, but just keep an eye on Wednesday. After that, though, back to normal, the flip side of that cold front.
Sounds like a plan. Thanks, Chris. Well, stick around. We're making bacon roasted chicken in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen. We'll be right back. Today, Howard's sharing the recipe for bacon roasted chicken in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen.
As you know, here in the Test Kitchen, we love celebrating all sorts of special days, especially the ones that are a bit off the wall. With that being said, I want to let you know that tomorrow is National Men Make Dinner Day. It's a day when guys are in charge of what goes on the table. It may sound like all fun and games, But there are a few rules you have to follow. For instance, men must do all the shopping, and it can't be cooked on the grill. So to help all the guys who don't know where to start, I figured I would share a dish that is bacony delicious. We start by placing an onion in the cavity of a large roasting chicken, and then we rub it with a mixture of butter and seasonings. To take this over the top, we place 4 slices of thick-cut bacon over the chicken, and then we sort of weave 4 more slices with them, like this. Pour on some chicken broth, and we pop it in the oven. While it cooks, we can make a salad and set the table. When the bacon is all crispy and the chicken is juicy tender through and through, it's time to ring the dinner bell. The recipe for our bacon roasted chicken is online now, so you can have it in time for National Men Make Dinner Day. Oh, there's another rule I forgot to mention. We have to do all the dishes. I'm Howard in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen, where today we found a manly kind of way for you to say, ooh, it's so good.
You can, of course, find this recipe along with a lot more good food from the Mr. Food Test Kitchen online. Just go to our website. That's KOAMNewsNow.com. Now, here's a look at the 4 state market prices.
All right, we've got that fall-like day for us today. A bit breezy and cooler tomorrow. Showers and thunderstorms rolling in Friday afternoon through the night into the first half of Saturday. Above normal temperatures as we head into the next work week ahead of another cold front Wednesday with some more thunderstorm chances out there.
All right. Thanks, Chris. Beautiful day today.
Absolutely gorgeous.
And Dow idea for us later on.
Well, a lot's coming up at 5. For starters, when we think of people who suffer concussions, athletes probably first come to mind, not law enforcement officers. We're going to take a look at a new study that's putting the spotlight on the often overlooked population for concussion surveillance. Plus, last night, voters in Carthage, Missouri passed a proposal to recall Ward 5 Councilwoman Tiffany Kosey. We're going to have more details on that, including reaction from the Carthage community. And the Gordon Parks Museum in Fort Scott hosts the 2024 Kansas Museums Association Conference. Hope you join us for those stories. A lot more, of course. It's coming up today. KOAM News at 5.
Absolutely. Lots to look forward to tonight. Thanks, Dow. And that's the news for now. Thank you for joining us on KOAM News at noon. We'll see you right back here at 5. Until then, have a great rest of your day.